your smile back. Click or call to schedule your new smile consultation today.
Go ahead and smile.
You know, there are so many different nonprofits in Chattanooga, far more than you even realize, and each one of them works together to kind of weave the fabric that makes our area such a wonderful place to call home for everyone. And one of those is Love's Arm Outreach. We're always happy to welcome our next guest. Enza is her first name, and we love it when she is here with her beautiful smile. Enza Hagens-Dyer. She's the executive director of Love's Arm, and the reason I mentioned all of our citizens is because you at Love's Arm are reaching perhaps some of the most, if not the most, overlooked in our community. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. We reach out to primarily women, but to anyone who has experienced trafficking or what we call commercial sexual exploitation. And so yes, we do reach out to that population. Last year we served over 400 women on the streets of Chattanooga.
So what she and I are going to talk about as our conversation continues is an event that they do every year. It's a fundraiser.
It is.
For what they do called Jazz and BBQ, coming up at the end of September.
Yes, Jazz and BBQ is a wonderful event. It's an opportunity to come out and hear some jazz, have some barbecue, and also to learn about how you can support the efforts to address trafficking in this area. We particularly focus on the survivor care. We have different aspects of helping out with trafficking. Some are in working on demand reduction from law enforcement, etc. But we at Love's Arm focus primarily on the care of the survivor.
So that is a long-lasting survivor. I mean, the journey never ends. You never have just, quote, survived. You're always dealing with the aftermath.
Yes, because what happens is you're dealing with the trauma of what has happened. And you and I were talking a little bit about that movie, The Sound of Freedom. And I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but the whole title is premised around the sounds that people make when they are freed from trafficking. Well, we know that after they're freed, there's a lot that has to happen. That's when the real work begins, and that is helping those survivors to manage and thrive past the trauma. And
so when you get your ticket to the Jazz and BBQ, I think this might be the most powerful year, because you were sharing with me that you won't hear a speaker. You will hear multiple speakers in the form of the women primarily who you've helped. They won't be speaking, but they've written poetry.
Yes, what we've done this year, we always like to provide in an ethical, careful way the perspective of the women who are having these experiences. And we always keep them confidential, but they have written some poetry, and we're going to have one of our staff members who is also a volunteer who works with poetry, Jeannie Babb, will be reading their poems. And they're going to be very insightful as to kind of the journey that they have, what they've been through, but also you'll see all the hope and the joy that comes from, from where they are in this journey. In
case people are not familiar with what you do at Love's Arm, they're getting a sense of it in this conversation, but it's far more than this event. These are daily and nightly outings, if you will, to meet these women quite literally on the streets, just simply to let them know you're there. Sometimes they won't even come and talk to you, but over time you hope to build trust.
Yes, we have several programs that are designed to engage and connect, and just to do just as you said, to let the people out there know that they are seen. Oftentimes they'll tell us that they feel invisible. We let them know we see you and we love you. We are a faith-based organization, and we try to show the love of Christ in all that we do. So we have 5 outreaches that go out directly to the streets and motels of Chattanooga each month. We just added an outreach in Hickson because we're starting to see more homelessness in that area. And so we go out and we meet with those women, and we love them as they are, where they are. We offer them resources, prayer if they would like to have that, food, weather appropriate beverages, and so forth. We also have our long-term recovery home, which is 18 to 24 months of cost-free, a place to heal and grow, get job training, and all of those kinds of things to help move forward. We had a soft opening of our first 30-day acute care center, where now women can call in and say, hey, I just need to get off the streets, and we have a place for them. We're getting the staff trained, and we'll be accepting applications in just a few days.
You know, that's a very brave outreach for a woman to call you and say, I need to get off the streets. That was probably months, if not years, in the making for her to find the bravery to make that call.
Absolutely. And it goes to the point that we always say, we don't rescue these women. They don't like to be referred as being rescued. They say, we're not puppies, we don't need to be rescued. What we do is we walk beside them when they make the decision, and as you say, that brave call to say enough. I'm ready to make a change.
And they didn't put themselves there either.
Oh,
a life
absolutely
circumstance
not.
got them to that position.
Yeah, I had someone the other day said, well, isn't it their choice? And I had to ask them this question, who would choose to be passed around to strangers for their pleasure up to 30 times a day? I mean, I don't think that's anybody's choice. It's always something, in fact, our research has shown that most trafficking begins with sexual trauma at a young age. The average age to enter trafficking in the state of Tennessee is between the ages of 12 to 15.
Wow.
And it often starts with some sort of abuse, sadly in the home, even in churches, schools. It's usually something that happens when a person in a position of trust breaks that trust with that individual. That creates trauma, and that trauma can lead to all sorts of things: mental health issues, prone to drug and alcohol abuse, lack of trust, poor decision making, because it's been shown that at the age of that trauma, that's where development can often be arrested.
We are very lucky that you have the knowledge and the heart that you have.
Well, we have volunteers and experts that help us.
Well, here's how you can help. It's just simply by getting your ticket at lovesarmoutreach.org for the Jazz and BBQ. It'll be great food, a lot of fun, but you will have the chance to walk away at the end of the evening hearing from these women and their words, and perhaps be touched in some way to continue to find a way to support the effort. Thank you so much, Enza.
Thank you.
With Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, you can instantly know what you spend on things like food,